Angel Reese just had the worst game of her professional career, and it happened when the whole world was watching. This was supposed to be her moment, a national TV spotlight, a packed arena, social media buzzing before tip-off. But when the lights hit the court, Angel Reese vanished. 4 points, a -20 rating, one of the worst team performances in WNBA history. And now, critics aren't just asking what went wrong. They're wondering if Angel Reese is even built for this league. What happened out there? And more importantly, what does this mean for her future? Let's break it all down. Angel Reese stepped into the arena like a superstar. Cameras clicked, fans gasped, and her name trended instantly. The outfit? Eye-catching. The presence? Unmissable. But by the time the final buzzer sounded, all people were talking about was how bad she played. Reese logged 27 minutes on the court. In that time, she managed just 4 points. She hit only 2 of her 7 shots. And despite pulling down 12 rebounds, her overall impact was deeply negative, literally. Her plus-minus was a brutal -20, one of the worst of the entire WNBA season. Fans expected dominance. What they got was disappointment. Reese was brought in as the Chicago Sky's future. But that night, she looked lost, tentative on offense, soft on defense, and completely disengaged from the game's momentum. Even more troubling, she wasn't alone. The Chicago Sky didn't just lose, they collapsed. They finished the night with just 52 points, their lowest team total since 2011, and not a single player on the roster scored in double digits. This wasn't just a bad night, this was a basketball disaster. Let's be clear, this wasn't just Angel Reese having an off night. The entire Chicago Sky team imploded in front of a national audience. The final score? 79-52. That 52-point showing wasn't just bad, it was historically bad. You'd have to go back more than a decade to find a WNBA team that scored that little in a game. The Sky didn't just get beat, they got exposed. From the opening tip, they looked disorganized, flat, and overwhelmed. They scored just 9 points in the first quarter, and things never got better. Not a single quarter passed the 15-point mark. By the second half, fans in the arena had gone quiet. On CBS primetime, with nearly 19,000 people watching live, the Chicago Sky couldn't find one player to break double digits. Angel Reese led all starters with, believe it or not, just 4 points. Camila Cardoso chipped in 8, and that was it. Nobody else stepped up. No rhythm, no fire, no leadership. Just confusion and a scoreboard that kept getting uglier by the minute. For fans, it wasn't just disappointing. It was embarrassing. This was supposed to be a statement game, a moment to show that the Sky could rise without Caitlin Clark in the building. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. And while the entire team struggled, Angel Reese, one of the most hyped rookies in the league, became the face of the collapse. As the final buzzer sounded, the backlash hit instantly. Social media exploded, not with support, but with sarcasm. One comment summed up the night. She's not Dennis Rodman. She's Denise Rodman. And it stuck. Yes, Angel Reese pulled down 12 rebounds. But when your team loses by 27 and you score just 4 points, that stat feels empty. Her offense was nowhere to be found. She missed open layups. She hesitated on open looks. And the fire? The competitive edge she was known for? It never showed. Critics weren't subtle. They questioned everything. Her shot selection, her effort, even her desire to be on the court. People started asking the question no athlete wants to hear. Does she even want this? Reese has always had a loud presence, confident, outspoken, and unapologetically herself. But when the performance doesn't back up the attitude, that confidence quickly turns into a target. And on this night, with the world watching, she gave the doubters everything they needed. Even the media, which has often protected her from criticism, couldn't look away. This wasn't just a rough game. This was a collapse, and the critics pounced. One of the biggest questions to come out of this blowout wasn't just about Angel Reese's performance. It was about leadership, or rather, the complete lack of it. This was a game where someone, anyone, needed to step up. The Sky were down early, the crowd was quiet, the energy was dead, and yet no one rallied the team. No one took charge. No one demanded the ball or set the tone. Reese was supposed to be that person. With all the attention she gets, with all the headlines she generates, she's been promoted as the future face of the franchise. But in a moment where real leaders are made, she disappeared. No fire, no push, no lift, just frustration and missed opportunities. And it wasn't just her. From the coach to the bench, the entire Sky team looked like they had no answers. Head coach Teresa Weatherspoon has already come under fire this season. But on this night, the blame didn't stop with her. It was everywhere. There were missed assignments, lazy passes, broken plays, players shaking their heads, looking defeated. You could feel the disconnect. not just between players and coach, but between each other. On a professional team, that's a red flag. Chicago's locker room suddenly looks like a silent room full of questions. No spark, no chemistry, and worst of all, no clear leader. While the sky crumbled, something very different was happening on the other side of the court. The Indiana Fever came in without their star, Caitlin Clark. No flashy headlines, no social media buzz. But what they did bring: focus, energy, and a plan. From the first possession, Indiana looked locked in. They moved the ball with purpose, cut hard off screens, and punished every mistake Chicago made. The difference in execution was night and day. And remember, this is a team missing the player who gets all the headlines. Kelsey Mitchell set the tone early with 8 first-quarter points on perfect shooting. Aaliyah Boston kept the defense honest inside. And off the bench, Ari McDonald stole the show. She poured in 12 points, attacked the paint, knocked down threes, and brought the kind of energy Chicago was desperate for, but never found. Even Indiana's interim head coach, Austin Kelly, earned praise. He barely called timeouts, just let his team run their system. Calm, confident, effective. He trusted his players, and they delivered. While Chicago looked like a group of strangers, the Fever looked like a team. Every player was involved. Every possession had purpose. It didn't matter that Caitlin Clark wasn't playing. Indiana showed they don't need just one superstar to win. They can do it as a unit. Angel Reese is a household name. She's got millions of followers, shows up at the Met Gala, stars in music videos, and headlines her own podcast. On social media, she's everywhere. But after this game, fans started asking a harsh question. Is Angel more interested in being famous than being great? And that question didn't come out of nowhere. When your stat line is 4 points, 12 rebounds, and a -20 in 27 minutes, and you've been promoted as the future of the league, people start noticing the disconnect, especially when you've built a brand on confidence and bold statements. That spotlight cuts both ways. Some commentators even compared her arc to Colin Kaepernick after his peak, someone whose image became bigger than the actual performance. That's not a flattering comparison, because no matter how many headlines you generate, basketball is still about buckets, wins, and effort. And in this game, none of that showed up. Her off-court success is undeniable. But in pro sports, success off the court only matters when it's backed by production on the court. Otherwise, it starts to look like the game is just a platform, not a passion. And on a night when her team needed a star, Angel Reese looked more like a brand than a baller. So what now? Angel Reese just put up the worst performance of her career on the biggest stage she's had since entering the league. The stats were ugly. The team was flat, and the critics louder than ever. Is this just one bad night, or is it something deeper? That's the question fans, coaches, and even her teammates might be asking right now. Because when you've got the spotlight, when you're positioned as the face of a franchise, you don't get to have nights like this. Not without answers, not without accountability, not without growth. The WNBA is a league full of grinders, women who have spent years proving themselves just to get a roster spot. And when someone shows up with more marketing than consistency, the pressure gets real, fast. But here's the truth: Angel Reese can bounce back. She's talented, she's marketable, and she's already inspired a whole new generation of fans. But none of that will matter if she can't produce, if she can't lead, if she can't deliver when it counts. The Sky can't afford to keep waiting for the version of Reese they were promised. And the fans? They're running out of patience. So, is this the wake-up call that sparks a comeback? Or the warning sign of a flame that's burning out? Only Angel Reese can decide which path she takes next. Let us know what you think. Is Angel Reese just having growing pains? Or are the critics right to be concerned? Drop your take in the comments. And if you're rooting for a bounce back, hit that like button, because this story, it's far from over.